Welcome back, adventurer. Today's creature has been described as a lovely little cottage, made entirely from human remains. If that sounds like something in your price bracket, then come, pull up a stool at Creature Tavern. Adventurer, you couldn't have timed that any better. We've just took the stool tops out the fire. Come, warm your bones, as I warm your brains with another tale from the uncertain plane of inexistence. How's about one of Baba Yaga from Slavic Folklore? Baba Yaga, also known as the Slavic crone, is one of three sisters sharing the same name. The first written mention of her appears in Mikhail V. Lomonosov's Russian grammar book in 1755. She is commonly painted as a hag or crone, though in some traditions she appears as a benevolent old woman who aids the heroes of the land. Scholars who've stopped by for a pint or two suggest she may be a Slavic counterpart of the Greek goddess Persephone, connecting her to spring, nature, the elements, and the cycles of life and death. And this hints at her origins as a more divine figure, rather than the witch she's most frequently seen as today. For her name, linguistically, Baba means grandmother or old woman. In Serbo-Croatian, Macedonian, Romanian, and Bulgarian, while in modern Polish and Russian, it can also carry pejorative connotations for a woman that's old, dirty, or foolish. No one seems to know what the Yaga part means. Some scholars explored the possibilities of it meaning anger, horror, legendary evil female, witch, disease, and exploit, among many others. But a direct translation has never been confirmed. Baba Yaga is widely recognised for her grotesque and unsettling set of physical features. She's said to have dishevelled hair, an incredibly long, hooked nose. So long, in fact, it's said she could reach the ceiling of her hut with it when lying down. Long, bony fingers, skeletal, frail limbs, iron, or by some, tusked teeth, and rather hairy hands. Her body also features what folks, not me, folks, describe as a few repulsive elements, such as her breasts, buttocks, and lower region. And when not talked of in this repulsively hideous motion, she's said to come across deceptively human-like, emphasizing the role she plays as both threatening and liminal. Perhaps the most iconic element is her mobile home, or hut to be exact, typically standing on two enormous chicken legs, roughly 2 stories high, though some accounts substitute this foul feature for a parade of equally unusual alternatives, including goat legs, iron stilts, spider legs, roots, or skeletal human legs. And there's rarer stories still that depict her hut with hands, claws, a tail, or most disturbingly, more than 2 legs. Now that you know to look out for a pair of giant animal legs, let's talk more about the hut itself. It'd be mighty embarrassing if you tracked down a walking hut, only to find it wasn't the Baba Yaga's. Lore says the hut's a small wooden house, often appearing like a typical Russian izba, that's log cabin, complete with thatched or shingled roof, a lovely little crooked chimney, and small glowing windows that give off a faint, warming hue. But unlike regular huts that match this calm country description, the Baba Yaga's goes a little sideways. You see, it's said that surrounding the hut is a fence made entirely of sharpened human bones with skulls at the top, often with a missing post reserved for her next victim. And at night, well, the skulls glow with a lovely blue or green flame illuminating her grim perimeter. The walls are also said to be adorned with carvings of skulls, bones, ruins and charms to give the place that homely supernatural feel. The doors and gates are sometimes said to be crafted from human skin, framed with bones, locked and bolted with human teeth and jawbones, and of course hinged with skeletal arms. Oh, and that quaint cottage-style thatched roof? Well, by some stories, that's said to be human hair. Yeah, it sounds kind of terrifying. But if it helps keep the heat in, I might just have to ask where she gets the hair from. Baba Yaga holds strong ties with the forests and woods, so you'll find this towering cottagecore nightmare wandering deep in areas that fit this description. The taiga forests of Russia, Polish and Belarusian woodlands, the Carpathian mountains that range across Ukraine, Slovakia and southern Poland, the Ural mountain forests, and the Czech and Slavic dark woods are all good places to start. So make sure you mark them on your map. There was one other location said to house the Baba Yaga, but you'll not find it on any map. Some say she dwells in faraway Sardom, an unidentified realm of East Slavic folklore. Lore says, beyond the thrice 9 kingdoms, in the 13th realm, beyond the fiery river, lives the Baba Yaga. Now, regardless of which territory you decide to visit, she won't be easily found. Her hut's in constant motion, so prepare yourself for a long trek. Much like her appearance, her behaviour shifts through a few different settings, oscillating between a ruthless predator, cunning trickster, and at times, reluctant guide. Those who seek her out often do so for her immense wisdom, but any encounter with her results in a surprise test of survival, willpower, and cunning. She's a man-eater, or more accurately, a child-eater, notorious for stealing, cooking, and gobbling up her victims. Her favourite's children, but she's also partial to those who trespass in her domain, or show disrespect to her in any way. And that appetite is legendary. Heard from folks that say she enjoys frying her victims before consumption. Seems old Stinker ain't the only one with a favourite way to prepare his human meat. If you're unfortunate, I'm not sure which, but to have a meeting with Baba Yaga, it's rarely straightforward. Entry into her hut, if granted, and we'll get to that, initiates a series of grueling trials that blend physical tasks with what can only be described as psychological warfare. These trials include cleaning her hut, sorting heaps of grain mixed with dirt, weaving linen, fetching water from a deadly source, bringing fire without being burned, caring for her definitely not dangerous animals and magical garden, or answering riddles about fate, courage, or magic. And each one of these tasks must be complete in a single night. As you can guess, her cruelty lies in the impossible nature of these tasks. She fully expects you to fail these trials, and it isn't always as simple as a house chore. Sometimes, She's said to force her visitors into confronting their deepest, darkest fears. Others, you're tasked with eating a strange meal. Now, this one doesn't sound too bad until you hear of rumours that say this free grub often contains human flesh or other unidentified horrifying components. Reacting badly or refusing will result in death. The hut may also force visions of past guilt, loved ones in peril, or disturbing nightmares. And these tests help Baba Yaga measure your will, compassion, and ability to withstand unexpected horrors. It ain't going to be a walk in the park, but success brings magical rewards, vital advice, or safe passage. And yes, I did say or. For all your trouble, you only get to choose one. As well as a taskmaster, Baba Yaga possesses extraordinary nasal perception, or ENP for short. This ENP allows her to identify visitors by scent alone, even discerning their country of origin. Maybe it's your cologne, or maybe she can smell your jeans. Oh, and wait till you hear this. If you weren't already captured by her frying kids and demented riddles, Baba Yaga has quite the unique method of travel. She ain't always sat in her hut as it trundles about. Sometimes she needs something with a little more speed. And that's when she heads to the skies, soaring around in a massive wooden mortar. And steering the beast with the pestle, of course, while sweeping away any tracks she's left with a broom. Talk about stealth. In some versions, she swaps the pestle and mortar for an iron kettle. Couldn't find out how she steers that one, mind. In either vessel, her flight is said to create violent tempests in her wake. And the pestle, by the way, that doubled as a weapon. So prepare yourself for that. Probably still better than a great big iron kettle running into you. And speaking of her hut, let's head back there for a second. The Izbushka na Kirk Nozkak, or Hut and Chicken Legs, is arguably as famous as the owner. The hut's alive and impressively obedient, able to walk, spin, or flee from intruders without direct command. If you encounter the hut, you'll likely notice it turns its back to you till you utter the correct passphrase. Now here's where you gain entry. And I've also got some good news. I managed to find a few of these commands. But bad news, I couldn't say which is the working one. So here's your options. Hut, hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me. Hut on chicken legs, turn to me your face, and to the forest your back. Stand still, little hut, let me enter. And in some versions, you must knock 3 times before you recite the command. So make sure you got note of those. And a fair bit of warning here. Failure to give the correct command will result in the hut denying entry and walking off. If you're lucky. If you've caught the hut on a bad day, folks say they're known to attack, try stomping you to death, or lure you deeper into the forest before legging it, leaving you hopelessly lost. If you get the combo correct and find your way inside, then it's also a pretty bad experience, as escape is nearly impossible without Baba Yaga's consent or aid of a magical item or creature. Once the door's locked, you're stuffed. You could try to blow the bloody doors off. It's only wood, bone and human skin after all. But in this form, they're said to be indestructible So good luck with that. You're going to need an almighty bang. And Baba Yaga's domain extends beyond that hut, and even her own powers. She's known to command 3 mystical riders. The White Rider, Red Rider, and Black Rider. Each one personifying a unique state and rotation. Dawn, noon, and night. They only appear at their respective times of day, mounted on horses and clad in garments matching their title colour. They're not hostile. They serve as timekeepers and messengers for Baba Yaga, often as signals for her trials, warning that you're reaching the near last sands of day. So you better finish that questionably chunky soup, and quick. She refers to them as my bright dawn, my red sun, and my dark night. No, not that dark night. Lastly, and to end here on a short point, turns out Baba Yaga is sometimes depicted as accompanying death on their travels. Do with that what you will. Baba Yaga is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful creatures I think we've spoken of here in the tavern. Not only that, but she's got a garage of sick rides, and she's mates with death. I bet you think you're scuppered with this one. Well, not while you've got me on your side, as I've managed to cobble together a good few tips and tricks to help you should you come face to foul with this legend. One story I managed to uncover speaks of a horn that summons the firebird from Slavic folklore, and I'd strongly suggest you find it before embarking on your journey. In this tale, a man possessing the horn blows it to summon the firebird while inside the witch's hut. The firebird tells the man, named Ivan, to hop on its back or Baba Yaga will eat him. Ivan does so, and Baba Yaga rushes him and grabs the firebird by its tail. The firebird manages to leave with Ivan, leaving Baba Yaga behind, with nothing but a fistful of firebird feathers. So if you need a quick escape, make sure you've got that horn. Or for something a little simpler, just show a little respect, and you're likely to survive. Maybe. And these tales weren't very common, but there was at least one of an adventurer who managed to play Baba Yaga at her own game. So if you're cunning enough, you might be able to turn the tables. Oh, how the turntables. And with that, we're finished with our creature for the day. We've learned that having a night for each phase of the day is definitely the coolest method of timekeeping. Now that bell means it's last call here at Creature Tavern. So grab yourself one more drink for the road, and until next time, tread carefully, adventurer. You never know when you might wander into the weird